what we can do for you in terms of e-commerce. So I'll chat a little bit first, and then I'm going to share just a couple images that help reinforce what I'm saying. And then I hope to take you through a little experiential part of it, where you can see for yourself how easy it is to use the platform. So I would sort of start by saying, you know, we've been preparing for such a time as this. We were always about digital. We were always about providing financial inclusion, not only for individuals, but for businesses, entrepreneurs, sole traders, persons like yourself, governments. So we look at all different levels of persons or entities that need to make payment. And what we found, this is about 3-4 years ago, what we found was there were so many barriers to getting on board the e-commerce bandwagon that it really was only for the privileged few. If you were a business looking to start getting into e-commerce, there were all sorts of upfront fees and costs and charges that you would have to pay before you even saw $1 in return. And then on top of that, if you looked at the persons who could actually pay you online, that represented maybe 15 to 20% of the population. And if you look across the different islands, that percentage drops even more. So you make this investment in your e-commerce presence, your website or your storefront, and then you're just not seeing the kind of sales or activities that you would expect. Peel back all these layers. What did we find? Credit card penetration levels were low. And really and truly, the only way that persons could make payments to you was with a credit card, as in online payments. So we wanted to fix that problem. And we fixed it with something we call our WiPay top-up voucher, which I'll show in a little while. Then we realized that, again, if you wanted to start having an e-commerce presence to accept credit card payments, that initial investment was costly. So we, as a registered payment facilitator, we made that process of you getting e-commerce quick and free. You didn't have to pay anything up front. There was no risk to you or your business to start accepting payments online. So I wanted to show why WiPay, I believe, is one of the best solutions for you. We are currently in Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Barbados, and we are ramping up in Grenada, Suriname, Cayman Islands, and we have other territories that are beckoning, that are calling and asking for the service that we provide. We literally provide services to you that are at little to no cost when compared to the options out there. So I want to show you a little bit now, if I may. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So this is just reinforcing some of what I said just now, but I don't want to get into too much of this. I don't think this is the part that you guys are really interested in. This is more corporate stuff, but this just shows you the spread of some of the islands or territories where we are. We are a fintech, a financial technology company by definition. As I said, we're regulated by the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago. So you're safe, all right? We're tightly regulated. So this is the digital cash or the WiPay top-up solution that I mentioned before. What is it? If you don't have a credit card or you don't have one of the new Visa debit cards that are coming onto the market now that allows online transactions, then you really still have a challenge making an online payment. So we used what was familiar to the market, top-ups. Everybody knows how to top up a Digicel or to top up a mobile phone. So the process is really the same thing. If I have to make a payment to you of, let's say, $500, I can go to one of the WiPay agent outlets or locations, pay my $500 and get a WiPay top-up. The WiPay top-up literally is a receipt with a QR code and a unique number. I can use that QR code or unique number to then make a payment online to any WiPay business or merchant. So that literally takes cash, converts it into digital fiat or digital money, and allows a person to make an online, quote unquote, cash payment. And the process really is that simple. We've also enabled links because at this time, sorry, at this time, there's still a whole lot of cards on the market, links cards, that still don't do online transactions. In Jamaica, that would be multi-link. In Trinidad, it's the links card, but basically it's that bank's network. You can see the list of locations here if you're interested in terms of where our footprint is, that persons can go to buy WiPay agent location, sorry, WiPay top-ups. So what have we done with this? We've just given an option to persons who were financially excluded to now be financially included in making online payments. So let's move now to, you have a website. Some of you may have a website, or you're contemplating building a website, whether it's in WordPress or Magento or one of these other very popular platforms. We made that part easy. And this is something that the current other e-commerce offerings on the market don't readily provide. They would tell you, sure, we could process credit cards, but you have to figure out the integration yourself. And that normally means finding a web developer and paying that web developer to create some sort of customized solution for you. That's not what we did. We know the popular e-commerce platforms, and we've created plugins for free that you can download to use and integrate payments onto your website. Magento, Shopify, as I said, WordPress. We're working on Wix. So these things integrate seamlessly with your website. But there's another part to it. What if you don't have a website? What if you are more of a social media type person where you interact with your customers or your clients via social media, whether it's WhatsApp or Instagram or any of those other popular platforms? What if that's the preferred way of interacting or engaging your customers? So we have an option called request a payment. So this is just an example here of a business called Creative Designs. Creative Designs, let's say you are purchasing something from Creative Designs and you're having this conversation via WhatsApp. Once you identify the cost, Creative Designs can send you a payment request that looks pretty much like what I have here in this sample. $2,500 to be paid. You can get that via email, or it can come to you as a link from Creative Designs in a WhatsApp or an Instagram message. And all you have to do as a customer is click on the link to pay with a credit card, or click on the link to pay with a WiPay voucher. And as soon as the banks have really started allowing the new Visa debit cards to do online payments, you will have a third link to pay with the debit card. So we're just waiting on that to happen. And I will show you how simple it is to send what we call an invoice or to request a payment in this manner. So what we've covered so far is credit card payments either on your website or credit card payments via this request a payment or invoicing feature. We've also shown that if you don't have a credit card, you can in fact pick up a WiPay top-up voucher to make that online cash payment. I'll mention this. We're coming out with something very soon on the market. It's a Mastercard product. It's called WiPay Card. And it's a solution that's going to put some great capability into your hands and the way that you manage your money. So some of you in this space or keeping your pulse, keeping your ear to the ground may know that Trinidad and Tobago now has an e-money framework, which allows us to do some things that we couldn't do before by virtue of it being prohibited. But now that we have this e-money framework as of August this year, it allows us to do some very, very exciting things that we've been waiting to release to the market. And the WiPay card is going to be one of those things. It's basically a prepaid card that will be tied to your WiPay account that you can use to access cash at the ATM, that you can use it for online sales, online purchases. You could use it at the regular merchant where you go to swipe your card or insert because it's chip and pin. It's contactless payments as well. So it's a full capability card that you manage online or just from your mobile phone. Really, 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 really great technology with Mastercard. We also have point of sale terminals. And this was something that really, really got a very favorable response. So again, if you go to the typical financial institution and you require a point of sale device or a merchant device, there's a lot you have to go through to obtain that device. You have to prove to the bank that the volume of sales or the volume of transactions or the value of your business is worth their time. And what that means is for a lot of smaller businesses or smaller clients, they simply fall outside the bank's interest. And this is not a knock on the bank in any way. This is just the experience and the reality. So we have our own smart terminals, which one, we make available to the average man on the street, but also they are more capable, much more capable than the regular bank's terminals. So we've in fact put terminals that have replaced bank's terminals. Why is it so different and what's the capability it provides? As I mentioned, it's a smart terminal which allows us to develop applications onto the terminal. So instead of just accepting credit card payments and debit card payments, which is what the point of sale terminal devices would normally do, we can build customized applications on top of that terminal. So it is a payment device, but it is also a device that can connect directly to your systems and give you real-time information, which helps with things like reconciliation and so on. And that has really garnered a lot of interest. These are handheld, they're mobile, and I dare say, I think they look quite cool. Now, this is not the only model we have, and we will be putting these back onto the market very shortly. They're going through some testing now for the new chip and pin. It just needs certification, and these are going to be back out on the market very soon. So if you are a face-to-face type business, this is also a great option for you. The last thing I'd show here before I just jump on to sort of the experience is what we call WiPay Direct. So using that same capability of those smart terminals where we can develop customized applications, we have a network. So we have a network of WiPay agent locations across the country. And let's say an insurance company wanted to collect premiums for it's an insurance policy. Instead of me going into the insurance company physically and in person to make that payment, I can go to any one of the WiPay agent locations, pull up that insurance company's app that we built, make the payment at that location. And that app speaks directly with the insurance company's systems in real time. What you really have is the insurance company now has the ability for its customers to go to any WiPay location and make a payment there. And that's what we call the WiPay Direct service. Right, so just to give you an idea of the kind of organizations that use WiPay currently, we have the Judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago and the Judiciary of Barbados. Right, that's basically the courts. They use it for maintenance payments, payments of fines and fees, and lawyers' fees and so on. We have some state entities that use us. So right here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Bureau of Standards uses us. In Guyana, the Civil Aviation Authority uses us. And we're very soon going to be making a very big announcement with some stuff we're doing with the government of Jamaica, an exciting initiative that involves the use of some digital technology. We also have some of the big players, Caribbean Airlines, notwithstanding what's happened because of COVID, but Caribbean Airlines, Digicel, the big massive conglomerate, Sagicor, Unicoma Courts, Amplia, Beacon Insurance. So these are entities that have regional type operations and regional footprints. Surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, we've also had a lot of interest from universities, secondary schools, even primary schools, looking to register for WiPay, just so they can start accepting payments from parents or from past students and so on. And we are somewhere around 17,000 plus registered users with WiPay, business accounts and individuals, right? And this would consist of sole traders, entrepreneurs, micro, small, medium-sized, and large enterprises. So we really have a vast portfolio, I would say, of clients, and we create solutions, or we enable different types of solutions based on your sector or your industry or your peculiar needs. So now I want to show you how simple how really simple it is to interact with WiPay. So I'm just going to go to the website, WiPay Caribbean. Okay, so we're here at the WiPay Caribbean site. Welcome, if you haven't seen it before, right? This is the Trinidad and Tobago site. We also have, as I said, Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Lucia. So depending on where you are operating out of or resident, you would use the WiPay site for that particular location because the currencies and the rates and so would vary by territory. So let's have a look. Let's do here, right? Under support, if I look at the developer support, where I mentioned if you have a website already, how easy it is for you to look to integrate payments through WiPay onto your website. So this is really for the more technical among you, but here we go. We have the WooCommerce, Magento, OpenCart, we're working on Wix. We have Shopify. If you're using a platform we don't support, we have APIs that you can use to integrate. So what we try to do is to make it easy for you to just incorporate payments into your shopping cart or whatever other system you use. So let's have a look at my WiPay account. I'm going to log into my account now. All right, so here we go. This is your dashboard. This is what greets you when you log into your WiPay account. And to get a WiPay account, this is also something we pride ourselves on. You sign up online. There is no appointment. You don't need to come in person in 2 weeks at 10 o'clock with a stack of paper that I will photocopy. You basically sign up online, password, email address, fill out the information. We do ask you for some KYC information, know your customer, as part of the due diligence process you're required to follow. Once you upload the supporting documents like your passport or your driver's permit and something showing a proof of address, a utility bill or something of the sort, you can be up and running in as little or as much as 2 days, sometimes less. So literally you can start today if you decided to sign up for a WiPay account today and be accepting payments tomorrow, Monday for the latest. So let me show you. You have your account. This is what it looks like when you jump in. This dashboard simply shows you your account balances. So my accounts are in Trinidad. So this is my TT balance. If it was Jamaica, this would be a Jamaican balance, a Jamaican dollar balance. And then we have US capability as well. If you have customers or clients that are paying you from outside of your country, they would be using a credit card and that transaction would come through in US. If you have a US account in Trinidad, a US bank account, you can actually accept and receive those monies in US dollars. If you do not have a US account, then the bank will do a conversion and you will receive those monies in TT dollars in Trinidad, or in the case of Jamaica, in Jamaican dollars, or in whichever territory. But here is your dashboard. This shows you the list of the last 10 transactions, right, from top to bottom, which you can expand and see the details as you need to. So this is useful. So for example, if somebody paid you, you would actually see this appear at the top of your account as the most recent transaction. But let's look at payments, right? So I'm going to go into payments. Let's request a payment. So this is the part I was saying. It's very, very easy to send an invoice or to request a payment from a client. So let's have some fun here. You can in fact customize this to your logo. I'm sure all of you or most of you have logos, so you can have your own branded logo here. And you can change the background. We just have some basic options here, black, white, or this blue. Based on what your logo looks like, you may just change the aesthetic. So let's go with black in this case to make it pop. This invoice number here is automatically generated by our system. However, if you have an invoicing or accounting system in the back, you can enter your own invoicing system here to match whatever your current invoicing is. If you're VAT registered, you're a business, you can enter the VAT ID there. I only have a TT account, so the only option I have here is to request a payment in TT. If I had both the TT and US accounts active, I could determine which currency I'm going to request this payment in. So I'm going to request the payment. Let's say it's $2,000. This is something that is unique in a sense to WiPay, and the other e-commerce solutions don't give you what I'm about to show you. $2,000, if you're a merchant and you accept a payment via credit card, you would receive $2,000 less the credit card processing fees. So the customer pays $2,000 and you receive $2,000 less whatever the credit card processing fees are. That's the norm in the industry. We have the ability to have those fees passed on as an additional convenience cost to the customer. So just using this scenario, right? If I just expand here, it shows me what the scenario looks like. On a $2,000 payment, the customer would actually be charged $2,062. You would actually receive $2,000 as the merchant. If we use the scenario that currently obtains in the market where the merchant absorbs, you being the merchant, then the customer pays $2,000. You actually receive $1,938. So I'm just showing you that WiPay gives you the option to sort of move that processing fee around a little bit depending on your business or the type of product or service. We found that some people absorb it and other people pass it on. And we actually created a middle of the road, a 50-50 split. So you actually spread it between the merchant and the customer. And in most cases where the merchant is asked to pay some or all of it, sorry, not the merchant, where the customer is asked to pay some or all of it, it's asked, it's coined as a convenience fee, an online convenience fee or an online service fee. So that's also a norm for a lot of the sites that use this approach. So in this case, we said the merchant absorbs, right? So we're still building our payment request here. Recipient name, let's say Joe Bratwave. Happy to be of service to you. Hope the trousers. Oh, all right, don't bash me for spelling. Hope the trousers are an excellent fit. Sincerely, right? Design Perfection Team, right? Let's say that's the name of your business, just for the sake of argument. So this literally is the information that you're going to pass now to your customer. So we say next, right? So now we have two options. You can use either or both and. What do I mean? If you want to use a payment link like WhatsApp, if I wanted to send the payment as a WhatsApp link, the payment request as a WhatsApp link, I would copy and paste there, see? So I'm just going to copy, let's copy to the clipboard. If I wanted to send it as an email, for those who prefer emails, I'd enter the email address here that I want to send it to. So I'm going to do both to demonstrate both. So this is you, Design Perfection Team, right? The name of your business, sending an invoice to a client. So we'll send here, invoices sent. And we've also copied it on the clipboard. So I'm going to go into WhatsApp. Right, and I'm going to use my wife's WhatsApp here. I don't know if you like me, but do you have things like Joseph Plummer and like in this case, Kenneth Ruthman or Carl Driver, when you don't know the last name of a lot of people who you call, so yes, so forgive me for that. So I'm going to paste here. All I did was paste the same link that I just copied And this now is the payment link that I'm going to send. Right? Check this out. When I click on the link, this is what your customer sees. So your customer would click on the link and this is what they see. All the information that we provided in the invoice, $2,000. Happy to be of service to you. Hope the trousers are an excellent fit. But what's changed is really the stuff in the middle. The customer now has the option to simply click here, you see it turns to the hand, to pay with credit card, or click here to pay with WiPay voucher. So let's say I pay with credit card, I just click. And I'm presented with a secure credit card payment site. This is where you would enter your credit card number, right? Now this is live, so I won't do a real transaction here, right? And then I would confirm payment. So this is what your customer would go through. It's as simple as this if they were making a credit card payment to you for $2,000. If I go back, pay with a voucher. So I remember at the beginning, I showed you guys a little bit about what the top-up voucher looks like. So if your customer is not a credit card customer, but wants to pay you with digital cash, they can pick up that voucher and they would come here. They would either enter the voucher number or they scan the QR code. So if I go back, hope I'm not getting anybody nauseous with the scrolling here. Apologies if I am. Right, so they would either scan this QR code or enter this voucher number here, which is unique. Right, that's what they would do to make the payment here. If you're using a phone, a mobile phone that has the camera integrated, this is where you would click just to scan the voucher. So in that very simple, I think I closed down my account by accident. Yeah, I did. So in that very simple example, what I showed was what the customer experience would be like if you were sending them that link via social media, whether it's WhatsApp, as I did in this case, or Instagram, or any of those other social media platforms. If it was via email, because I chose to demonstrate both. Right. So here it is sitting at the top of my inbox. So this now is what your customer would see if the decision was to request that payment from them using an email. All right. So I open the email. And here it is again. Same thing, but this time it's via email and not via the WhatsApp. And I get the same thing when I click to pay with credit card. Right. That should look familiar. And I get the same thing when I do the WiPay voucher. All right, so that should also look familiar. So what I'm going to do now is head back to WiPay Caribbean. I think I did put myself out of the account. Log back in. What I want to show you now is, okay, so how do I know if the customer has paid? How do I know when they've paid? If I have 55 customers, how am I managing that? That's a manual task. So if you go to payments, manage payments, you have a payment dashboard now. This shows you all of the pending payments and all of your paid invoices. So if somebody has in fact paid you, you will see it at the top of this list of paid. If they haven't yet paid you, it stays in a list of pending invoices. So this should look familiar. This is the invoice that we just generated. Happy to be of service. Hope the trousers are an excellent fit. And you have the ability just to see a copy of it. So if there's a discrepancy, for example, your customer says, you send me an invoice for 2,500. You can say, well, hold on, let me double check. But your invoice says 2,000. So you can always see exactly what the customer says in case there's any discrepancy or any question or information that your customer wants. All right? If you did make a mistake, you overcharged or undercharged, you can simply cancel and reissue a new invoice if you needed to. And if the customer did in fact make a payment to you, not only would you see it under paid invoices, but if I go back to the home, your opening dashboard, you would in fact see it here as well. It would appear at the top, and you can expand to see the details. So this was just a very quick sort of walkthrough or demonstration of how easy it is to start accepting payments either from your website or from this request a payment or invoicing feature, as we call it, with a sign-up time that takes 1 to 2 days. You could be accepting payments this weekend or Monday if you so desired. Ask me the one question, which is, okay, so what does it cost? It doesn't cost you anything to sign up for your WiPay account. It doesn't cost you anything to have your WiPay account active. Only time that WiPay applies any fees or charges is when you receive a payment. So there's no upfront payment, no monthly fees, there's nothing of the sort right now. You can sign on for free, start using the platform for free, and only when you get paid do we ourselves get paid. So we have skin in your game. That's one of the ways we like to describe it. So at this point, I would stop, and I don't know if to just open the floor for any questions or so at this point.
Thank you so much, John, for that wonderful, content-rich discussion. We certainly have a much better understanding of all of the different services and amenities available from WiPay. So for the format of the question and answer session, I have made a note of all of the questions that have been asked while you were speaking, and we will go through them one by one. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening in on our session, please feel free to type your questions in the chat box available, and we will get to your questions one by one. So let's begin at the very top. Our first question comes from JLC, and the question is WiPay accessible internationally? We actually got a couple questions around this theme, so right. I will ask all of them. But the first is WiPay accessible internationally? Can it be used to purchase international products and services? John?
Okay. So a very good question about the international. Now, we are a payment facilitator. So we process payments and accept payments. If you're talking about using WiPay to make a payment internationally, that might be a slightly different type of context. Now, the only way it can work is if you're making WiPay to WiPay. But if, for example, you needed to pay a company in the States, unless that company is a WiPay registered entity, then we can't pay that company. So all monies being paid through WiPay must go to a WiPay registered account holder. I hope that answers the question, if that is what the intention was.
Thank you, John. The second question from Denise is, I am a national living abroad and would also like to sell my merchandise via online to Trinidad. How is the system going to be beneficial to me, and is it capable of doing that?
Right. So because of regulations, you must be resident in one of the territories where WiPay operates. As I said, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Barbados, very soon Grenada, Suriname. If, for example, you're living in the States or in the UK or in Canada, but you are a national, but you're not resident here, we may be able to register you, but it becomes a unique case. Why? We still need your proof of ID, your proof of address, but the requirements essentially state that you must be resident here. You don't have to be a national, but you must be resident in the territory where the processing of payments is taking place.
Okay, that's fair. We have another question from JLC, and that question is WiPay compatible with PayPal?
That's a strange question. In many ways, WiPay is a PayPal alternative. So it's not a compatibility issue. PayPal allows you to enter your bank account if you're living in the States, or your credit card, and then use your PayPal account to make payments at a host of different locations or different merchants that have registered with PayPal. WiPay is a payment processor. So similarly, we allow persons who've registered with WiPay to accept payments through us. So it's not that we are compatible, we actually are an alternative to PayPal. And what we've seen because of PayPal's decision a little earlier this year, where people are now having difficulty getting monies out of their PayPal accounts, a lot of those customers have started asking WiPay if we can provide the same services. So I would like to think we are more of a comparator than an integrating solution with PayPal.
Interesting. That's very, very interesting. So the next question would be from Stefan, and that question is, if someone is outside of Trinidad and Tobago, let's say the US, would they have access to a voucher option, and where would they get it?
Right. So if you are outside of Trinidad and Tobago, no. So our vouchers are based on the ground experience here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going to have it in Jamaica, possibly Barbados very soon as well. But if you're in the States, I don't believe, as far as I know, that persons in the States have the same challenges we have here in terms of accessibility to credit cards. You could walk into Walmart and pick up a credit card. So the access to prepaid type credit cards or even actual credit cards is much, much easier. So cash is not so much of an issue there as it is here in the Caribbean, where we still have a large population that is unbanked and don't have access to some of these very, very basic financial instruments. So for us, it doesn't make sense to put down a cash network in the US. We don't think that there's enough justification there for us to do that.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. The next question comes from Shona, and that question is, any updates on the Rebel card for making purchases using the digital dollars in the WiPay account? That sounds very specific. Any updates on the Rebel card?
Let me just look behind me to see Shona behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good question. So
that's a very specific question.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, very good question. At our WeDay event last year, we had this big announcement about the Rebel card, and it was supposed to be a Visa product. Things changed since then. It's now a Mastercard product. And Shona, if you were tuned in when I was showing the WePay card, that's the product. So we've switched from Visa to Mastercard for a couple of reasons. We think Mastercard is bringing some more interesting technology and a better fit for what we want to achieve. And it's progressed a little bit. And that's the card that we plan to bring out before the end of the year. And it's tied to the e-money framework that I mentioned before. So it will be part of your digital wallet, quote unquote. So the short answer to what I just answered very lengthily is yes, that WePay card, formerly known as the Rebel card, would be tied to your WePay account. So if you have funds in your WePay account, you can use your WePay card at the ATM to withdraw cash. You can use the card online right now for local payments, or you can use it for merchants, actual chip and pin point of presence.
Nice. So thank you so much, John. I mean, POSFW Fashion Week is truly offering, all our participants an opportunity for direct interaction and feedback from WePay. And of course, I know Shona is in the fashion industry and in the merchandising industry as well. So I'm glad that our practitioners and stakeholders can have this level of access courtesy POSFW Fashion Week. So we have a couple more questions for you, John. The next is from Stefan. Is there a fee for the point of sales machine, like a monthly fee?
Right. So far, the answer is no. We did a pilot. We had over 100 terminals out in the field at different types of merchants. This was just a little before COVID. And we wanted to test a couple of things to come up with a pricing structure, a fee structure, but also to see how the public responded. Based on that, we now have the data that would allow us to put, remember I mentioned before, the terminals are being certified now for EMV before we can put them back onto the market.
Yes.
So when we put it back onto the market, we will have a pricing structure. What I can guarantee you is that it will always be more competitive than the other options. I have to be careful how I choose my words.
Indeed.
But we would always, our raison d'etre, the reason we exist is because there's a gap. The reason we exist is because all things are not equal. So we really exist for the small man, and I mean that in the best way. We want to enable e-commerce. We want to accelerate participation, close the financial divide. So those are the reasons we exist. So where we see there's a gap in the market, that's a sweet spot for us to start operating, close that gap, and level the playing field. So we would never come to you with a pricing structure that is what's out there in the market. Then we're not doing anything different.
Excellent.
I hope that gives you a little bit of hope and excitement.
Thank you, John. We do have a final question. What is the process for moving your payments or funds out of WiPay into your bank account? And then I actually have another question after this, but this is the second to last question. What is the process for moving your payments or funds out of WiPay into your bank account? And that question comes from JP.
Okay, very good question. So I should have showed that in the dashboard. If you don't mind, I'll just share quickly because it happens to be right there.
Sure, no problem.
Right, so we have basically called a withdrawal process. It's a big word for a very small activity, but here it is. If I go to accounts and I see bank withdrawal, this is the point at which I can take funds from my WiPay account and actually have it transferred or deposited into my bank account. Having said that, depending on why you want access to those funds, you would also have your WiPay card tied to your account. So you may or may not actually need to transfer to the bank account if you just wanted cash. Or you may or may not need to transfer to the bank account if you wanted to just make a payment online or payment at the supermarket. So notwithstanding, this is the process here. So I can come here, I would enter the amount I want to withdraw. There is a flat $5 fee, whether I'm withdrawing $100 or whether I'm withdrawing $10,000, it doesn't matter. There's a flat $5 fee, and that's because we transfer the funds using the existing ACH network, the automated clearinghouse, which is the bank's network for moving funds between one account in Bank A to another account in Bank B. So we use the ACH, and there's a cost for that we incur.
Interesting. That is actually quite useful information to know. So we do have a question about some more clarity and information about the WiPay top-up. This is from Nadine Jeffrey. She seems very eager to do business with WiPay. She went onto the website immediately after you mentioned the top-up, and she couldn't find any information. So John,
really?
I know you, I know you touched on it earlier, but perhaps you can just give us one more run through, perhaps for those who may have come in a bit late, on the WiPay top-up, if you will.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna share again, if I may. Okay, so all right, so you should be seeing the screen now. So let me pull it back up here, right? Basically, we have agent locations, a couple Massy stores. You could pick up a top-up. We have pharmacies, we have a couple gas stations, some mom and pop type shops. So we have different locations spread across Trinidad and Tobago that sell WiPay top-ups. They also sell GovPay and CourtPay. We have different services that we sell. But for WiPay, you walk with your cash or your Links card, you go to any of the WiPay locations, and I will show you the list shortly just to clarify it. And you say, I would like to buy a WiPay top-up for X dollars. You give the cashier that money, and in return, they would give you back that WiPay top-up voucher, which has the value. It also tells us the location. And so we can uniquely track any WiPay voucher that was sold or redeemed. But this is what you would receive in your hand, your customer would receive in their hand. And this piece of paper is what they would use to then make a payment to you. So if I go here, if I go back to the site, under WiPay locations here, so this gives you a list of all the live locations. Now, we did have quite a few locations closed down because of COVID, but you would see a host of different locations here. Claxton Bay, Couva, we have Tobago down at the bottom here, locations in Tobago, right? And what you would see here is the type, depending on the type of service. So the judiciary customers would look for a court pay top-up to make maintenance payments online. Your customers, if they're making a payment to you, would look for the locations that sell a WiPay top-up. And it shows you here in ticks, the ones that sell WiPay top-ups. This list is actually being updated today. So you would see here updated November 5th, 2020. But this list is dynamic. So every time we add or remove locations, we update this list. So we tell people, keep coming back here to check the list of locations. I hope that answered that.
Indeed, I think we got a little bit more detail than we would have gotten the first time around. So thank you for asking that question, Nadine. So we had another question added to the list. As you speak, more and more people are getting interested and excited.
Great.
So the question here, of course, it's not really a question, but for our international audience, those who may be experiencing challenges with registration from abroad, one of our participants, KT, is asking if they can get some support. So do you have some contact information that you can share with our webinar participants today with regard to how they can reach out to you if they're having challenges with registering?
Yeah, you can reach out to me directly. I don't know if I could just put it here. I don't know if people will see the chat. Will they see the chat?
Yes, they will. Just once you set it to everyone, they'll be able to see it.
All right, so I'll give you my email address here. Right. So that's me, jmollenthiel@wipaytoday.com. But we also have a really nice set of customer experience people, far more energetic, lively, and interesting than I am. And this is what they do. So you can also email support@wipaytoday.com. We just released a chatbot, so we're getting some feedback on that. So we try to make interacting with us as convenient to you as possible, whether you want to WhatsApp, email, call, or try the new chatbot. So, but you can reach me directly, or you can send an email to support@wipaytoday.com. And as I said, we have a customer experience team that is very, very versed in helping you with anything, whether technical, whether it's as simple as signing up, or any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you, John. 2 more questions just added, and we will conclude because we are getting close to the 2 o'clock mark. The question comes from Stefan. You spoke up about paying someone who is not in Trinidad, but can payments be received from the wider world? The question is, would you be able to collect a payment from someone wanting to buy something from you if they are based in the US?
Yeah, absolutely. So as long as they're using a credit card or an internationally recognized debit card like Mastercard or Visa card, debit cards would also work. You can accept a payment from them. That's not a problem. I made the distinction before, so I'll just sort of say it again. If you are in Trinidad, if you have a US bank account and a TT bank account, it gives you the ability to accept local payments in TT dollars. But if you do have a customer or client in the States that is using their credit card to pay you, you can in fact accept that payment in US dollars and have the US dollars retained so you can transfer it to your US bank account. So you're not going to lose it.
Great.
Right? But that assumes you have a US bank account.
Indeed, that makes sense.
Yeah, so anybody anywhere in the world with any internationally accepted credit card can make a payment to you.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so whatever you said just triggered like 3 more questions, John.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask us if we can go through a little quicker, but these questions are important. The question comes from Denise, and she asks, is the $5 transaction fee charged per transaction?
Right, it is per voucher, but we're actually looking to change that model and maybe look at a flat 1%. So we kind of, I wouldn't say on the fence, I think we're moving more in the direction of just a percentage as opposed to that flat $5 fee, which is per voucher, not per redemption.
Right, per voucher, but not per redemption. So not per transaction, in other words.
Not per redemption.
Okay, redemption.
No,
okay.
No.
And the other question is, can you transfer user to user, WiPay user to WiPay user from 𝐓&𝐬? That's a question. Can you transfer user to user, WiPay user to WiPay user?
We have disabled that because that is in fact like peer-to-peer, which is what the central bank would formerly have considered e-money. So those are digital wallet capabilities that in order for us to remain compliant, we disabled. The short answer is absolutely yes. The long answer is at this time, we haven't switched on that capability. But yes, we will be bringing peer-to-peer. So you can move monies between WiPay accounts at no cost.
Interesting. So the technology is capable, but the regulations are not. That is interesting. Okay, final question we have from Hannah. And the question is there a WiPay app, a WiPay mobile app? Is there an app available?
There is, sorry. Yeah, there is, that was my wife, sorry. There is a WiPay app. We are doing a whole lot more with it. 3, 8. Right, I'm actually doing that because I just logged on to my WiPay app. Right, so there is in fact a WiPay app, but I'm telling you all now, we are revamping the entire interface. What I showed you online just now when you log in, that entire thing is going to change. We have some new capabilities coming. So the app is going to be upgraded significantly. Right, but if you remember my account, right, so we do have the app, and the app mirrors kind of what we have right now. So you can, in fact, do everything I showed you there from the app as well.
Excellent. And POSFW Fashion Week also has an app that is about to be launched tomorrow, Friday, the 6th of November. And you will be able to access the entire Fashion Week, all amenities, all activities, all online activities and events from this app. It's available for Android, and we are just awaiting confirmation from the iOS store for the app to be available on that platform as well. There will be lots of prizes and giveaways with the download of that app, so we strongly recommend that you download it. Also, we do have the rest of the events that we have coming up for the week. We have our pop-up market, which begins tomorrow and runs until Sunday at the Hilton, Trinidad and Conference Center on the Savannah Terrace. We also have our 2 virtual fashion shows, Cadence of Caribbeanness, which takes place on Saturday at 7 p.m. on our website, POSFashionweek.com. And we also have our second virtual fashion show, Razzmatazz, which takes place on Sunday, 8th November at 3 p.m. So that would be it for today. I know that John shared his information. A question got asked in the chat. I'm sharing, no. Is the URL www.wepaytoday.com? Yes, I think that is the website.
No, it's actually WiPay Caribbean. Yeah,
oh, WiPay Caribbean.
Yeah,
there we go.
I just put it there, WiPayCaribbean.com.
WiPayCaribbean.com. Thank you, John. So I think there are no further questions for today. Thank you, all 32 of you, for joining us for today's session. John, you had your work cut out for you with about different questions from different parts of your service. Yes, questions. We will try to make this recording available. However, we ask that you send us a message if you are interested to info@POSFashionweek.com. It is being placed in the chat as we speak, and you can reach out to us for access to this presentation. John, any final words from you, from WiPay?
No, I would just like to say, I really hope that some of you, if you are not already WiPay customers, give us a try. As I said, there's no cost for you to sign up for an account and to start using the services. So there's no investment other than 10 minutes of your time, maybe. And we're here to help you. I hope that you would try us out if you haven't already. And I want to thank you for the time. I want to thank POSFW Fashion Week for the opportunity. And thank you so much. And I hope we meet digitally.
Indeed. So see you around the fashion weekend. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Do enjoy the rest of your day.